Um, you mentioned previously about being in the minority communities have lack of education when it comes to financial literacy, specifically with real estate, so on and so forth. I personally related with that. I'm Armenian, and yes, we're a very minor community. Like, put it this way: in Armenia, altogether in Armenia, we have 3 million. So
Hmm.
in our mother, so very tiny country. And so for us, investing credit, this that is a very far understanding. It was everything new to me when I first came to this country. I had to learn everything from the scratch, which I love it.
Right.
And I think it's a good opportunity. I feel like I got to learn more than versus I grew up around it and just brushed off and picked up a thing or two and assume I know about it. So I feel like it worked out for me good that way. But no, how would you what would you, if you can pick out one or two financial literacy mistakes you notice in um, uh, communities that are not too exposed to real estate, what were those lack of financial literacy be that you notice in most of the common people?
Everybody rents. That's the first thing, and people don't understand the importance of life insurance and mutual funds, like investing into long term investments like stocks and things like that.
That's so good.
Um, those are really the biggest things because people like quick money. They don't
Hmm.
think about the way how a long term investment can save you. And it's honestly because they feel like they're already penny pinching. They're
Hmm.
already trying to make ends meet. So for them to put $50 a month into something that they're not seeing the growth in instantly, it makes them feel like it's not going to do much for them. So helping people understand that real estate is one of those long term generational wealth type of investments
Hmm.
that can produce instant income for sure. But it's like, how do you allocate that money? Do you just go spend it on a new bag or a new pair of shoes? Or do you put those earnings into your properties, getting more properties, investing into stocks, maybe even investing into REITs if you don't, you know what I'm saying? Like investing into real
Totally.
estate stocks. So it's just so many
If you feel
different
more
things.
comfortable, the rich is the next best thing.
Exactly. So if people knew more about real estate and about stock, I think it would be but they don't educate anybody on that in the U.S. education system. Those are
So
things you
true.
have to get as like electives.
Hmm.
That should not be an elective. Those should be like core classes to teach people how to navigate in the changing world. Like this, and real estate is one of the longest standing ways to have purpose. American Psycho is a great example of how stock is the way to go. Like Wolf on Wall Street, these are really like
Uh-huh.
the way they go crazy because they're making so much money, and then in a moment you can lose it, but they're studying it. Those are not things that we are studying because we're not used to having those things. If you look at any black or brown community, across the country, you're not going to see progress. You're not going to see beauty. You're not going to see too much of anything because that's not what it's a system. And I don't want to go too far into that, but the system was not created for black and browns to win. So how do we win? We educate ourselves. And you have people like me, people who really care, to go out and be one of the foot soldiers to teach you to 20 people at a time, 30 people at a time, 10 people at a time what it means to buy a property or what it means to save your money. So those financial literacy really just starts with people not understanding how the first problem you're doing is renting your whole life. That's the biggest
Right,
mistake
right,
ever, is
right.
renting. There are companies that will give you money to rehab properties and you don't even have to live in them, and
Hmm.
people do not even know this. So
Right,
that's like my
right.
whole goal with everything. And
That's
that's
amazing. You touched up so many great topics, though, that I feel like if we talk for 2 hours, and it's still not going to be enough. That's amazing. I would really love to
I think
invite you back
that,
sometimes in the near future to talk
yeah,
about more on investing and mutual funds and long term versus short term, and touch about dividends and what you mentioned about you being to teach and educate. That's really amazing, and I feel like. The goal is huge for it, you to make it a lifelong thing instead of say do it couple of years and let it go and try to try something
oh
else.
no, I'm not
So
letting this go.
you get what I mean? I see it. I see it, and you're on, definitely. You're not even on you're on the right track. You're not even on a good start. You're way ahead of where it is, because specifically with the internet and everything going around, you saw that something is missing, and you filled the gap with the information that you didn't see or hear about growing up. Same
Exactly.
thing with me. Same thing with
Exactly.
me. That's
We gotta
amazing, and
do it. We gotta
uh,
do it for our people, you know?
absolutely. And I always said I want to be the first person who always breaks the, not the, the poverty chain in my generation. And so from me and forward, my last name can be better at finance, be more financially literate, you know.
Exactly.